Two. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to our continued coverage here at Morphicon for Voices from the Grid. It's me, Mike, and I am joined by Mike Edward, who is Master Dane, the Red Ranger in Ninja Steel, and also Segavax and Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Just a forewarning, this is probably going to become a very inappropriate conversation. We go into Ash versus Evil Dead, Spartacus, stuff like that. It's just a natural thing that happened. We already one interview's been derailed by hockey. Why not have another one derailed by hockey?
Yeah, great. Who cares, right?
So real quick, because we are here at Power Morphicon, how's your time been here at Power Morphicon?
Look, it's been so surreal. I think I was saying to someone earlier, you know, the Power Rangers is kind of under the radar in New Zealand. It doesn't show on TV. No one really knows that you're on the show, so we don't really get a sense of what the support of the fandom is like. So to come across from kind of nothing to experience, you know, 4,000 people are here, and the generational love of the show. I put a post on it on Instagram. You know, it's been overwhelming and humbling in lots of ways. So yeah, incredible.
So what was it like for you to be in Power Rangers? You're a Red Ranger, but one of the interesting things about your character is that you're actually the father to a Red Ranger.
Yeah.
In that. So what was that all like for you to kind of be in that kind of role?
Well, what's fun, I think, is like as actors, we have bucket list things that we go, oh, that'd be cool to do. You go, I'd love to be in a Marvel movie or a superhero. I'm growing up, you go, I'd love to be a Power Ranger. And then there's always a point where you go, damn, I'm probably not going to be a lead in a Marvel movie anymore. And it was the same with the Rangers. You know, I got to 30 or whatever I was and gone, oh damn, I'm not 18 anymore. I'm no longer going to be a Ranger. And so to get a chance to become a dad who also becomes a Ranger, it was like a real win, because it was like, yes, it's not too late.
There's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope. See that?
Hope for us all.
There's hope for me, everyone. There's hope for me.
Just hang around long enough, you know, who knows what this
I'll be 70 in my deathbed and I'll finally get to do it.
Yeah, so it felt like that. So it was like a thing that I'd let go of as an idea that couldn't happen, and then it did happen, so it was really super cool.
Now, one thing that you did do way before that, you did Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah.
What was it like working on that show and being able to work with like Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, well, for me, my fandom was actually with Sam Raimi, you know, the big director, because I've grown up, he did all those early Spider-Man movies, and I was a big fan of his. So he came out to New Zealand to sort of get the ship on course, you know, and direct the first episode, and I was lucky enough to be in the first episode. So to work with Sam Raimi for like the space of 6 weeks was just that was really cool for me, you know, and what I enjoyed the most was here was this man that's completely made it in Hollywood, and his energy and his enthusiasm and his excitement about what he was doing, you felt like wouldn't have changed from when he was 15 with a handy cam and $10, you know. He was excited and he was like so into what he was doing, and it made me really appreciate horror in another way, seeing how he operated. You know, I remember him going, shake the camera, shake it like it's 1987, shake it. You know, he was such an excitable guy. So to do that and work with him, that was the joy in that show.
Did you get to like Bruce Campbell?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen Ash vs. Evil Dead. I think I've only seen the first season because I was not having stars anymore after the fact.
Okay,
you know, but I wanted to continue it on. But so like, what was it like working with them? Especially the fact that we're getting to Lucy Laws a little bit more because.
Yeah, so I know Lucy pretty well, so we'll talk about her later. Bruce, he's obviously a huge personality, a big actor in Hollywood. I remember very vividly at the read-through, you know, I was certainly nervous, you know, and I think I put some lines at the start, I was pretty quiet. And, you know, he came out and he started talking like this, and I was like, whoa, I'm so far behind the energy of where the show is, and I felt really embarrassed. But he's a big personality, he knows what he wants, he is Ash, you know, he's a pretty iconic dude himself, so you know it was cool. I didn't get to do any scenes with him, but Lucy obviously not with her either. But I've done stuff with Lucy from back in the day. We've done a couple of theatre shows and worked together for a few months, you know, so I know it pretty well. And obviously Spartacus,
which now we just kind of divert right over to there. So Segavax, how you doing down there?
Well, yeah.
For those who don't know, if you haven't seen Spartacus Blood and Sand, which is the first season of Spartacus, Segovax is a slave that is purchased per se by Olivia, yes, who is Glaber's wife, because she wants to get Spartacus dead. Yeah. So she goes, and the way they did it first was like, John Hanna's character, Badiatis, was like, Del Torre. Kind of show their, what was the word?
They're probably cock.
No. It wasn't.
Their worth?
No. Yeah. I think it was like their worth or something, but it was a different word. And so like you all had to take your like little loincloths off, and like I remember Dan Furigal, he was like, mine on the guy with the worst cock. Because he was Agron. It was like Agron was like, mine on the guy with the worst cock. And so, but of course, you follow Lithia's orders. You try to kill Spartacus in the baths, and you fail because Manu Bennett's Crixus comes in to save the day, and then you're crucified and then cut your cock off. So there's your backstory on that. But sorry for scarring everyone. This is now an 18+ interview.
Well, I remember because I got cast in that role. And then they sent the synopsis through of what the character is in the story. And obviously a big part of the story is this guy's huge cock. And I remember calling my agent and saying, hey, look, it's not like I'm embarrassed. Like I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not, I do okay down there, but as far as the narrative goes, can I really? And I was like, I just wanted to address this thing. They were like, no, stop. It's a huge cock. Like, it's not going to be your cock. We're going to make it hard for you. So then
we're going to grab some bologna.
Well, so I had to go through this process where they took a whole mold of my junk, and then so it was like somewhere out there in the world there's a plastic cast of like bits, and then they make this huge cock, and then the applications for this cock is quite a thing. Like it's like any prosthetic. You got to go in at the start of the day, 4 o'clock in the morning. Some guy was beneath me with a little paper with glue and painting it on and dressing it in. But then you can't go to the bathroom all day. And then the first cock they made, the cock that made the screen was actually the second cock, because the first cock they made was bigger. So we did reshoots for all the takes because the first time around it was so big, it was like touching my knee. It was so massive, and it was
nothing like it's funny. We talk about like molds and like applications for makeup and stuff like that. And it's like we always see, like actually I was just watching a video about Batman Returns and Danny DeVito and his process, but it's his face and it's his hand. Sorry for scarring everyone.
I'm scarred. I still see the guy that like put this on every morning for 2 hours and like underneath me kind of looking up. We can hardly look each other in the eye, we see each other and go, hey bro. Really awkward bond that we've got. Yeah. It's like,
but like, what was it like? Because one thing that you and I talked about Friday, because just so everyone knows, all these interviews that you're seeing are being done on Sunday, because Sunday is interview day.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
That's usually how it works at cons. Friday we were talking about it, and we were talking about Andy Whitfield. And that happened to be like,
and they got all sorts of
season.
They got all the components.
And obviously, Andy passed away. What was it like to be able to work with Andy, not knowing what was possibly going on at the time?
Yeah, I can really talk to that. I remember, like any show before a show's out, like in the first series, no one knows what it is. Like, so no one's seen an episode, no one knows what the genre is, no one knows if it's going to be successful or good or bad. You're kind of, especially on a show like Spartacus, you're in a warehouse just with sand and green screens. So you don't know about it. They kind of describe a clip or a common scene, and like it's just a whole bunch of dudes standing around in little clothes covered in mud, kind of doing this acting without really knowing what it is. And I remember, a few minor actors sort of doing some lines and I was kind of acting at you, and I was like, I'm not so sure if this is going to be good. In the back of my mind is like, I don't know what I'm working on here. What have I signed up for? And then I remember the first day that Andy appeared, and he started doing his lines, and he was vulnerable, he was authentic, he was like all the human, which makes him a hero, because then obviously the Spartacus has to, anyone to become a hero has to be afraid, because otherwise you're not a hero, you're just a dick being stupid, you know. But he had
like
all
clever.
yeah, so he had all his humanity with him, which makes him beautiful. And he started performing, and I was watching it, and I went, this show's going to be amazing because of this guy. You know, he had so much art and so much beauty, regardless of how silly the swords and sandals and fighting or whatever else was going on. There was a real human at the center of it being real. And as soon as I saw him perform, I knew we were good. You know, so that was like, I feel, bless you, Andy, man. I feel honored to have worked with him, you know, and to share the screen with him and have that cool fight with him. It's amazing.
Because it's like, obviously, did you watch the rest of the series?
Yeah.
So like that very last episode, you know, and they did the shout, like essentially like the shout out tribute to everyone who was on the show, even you were in and stuff like that. But that last bit, like Andy doing the I am Spartacus, you know, after in that very pivotal scene where he just like accepted his fate as Spartacus. Like seeing that at the very end as the way to like just close out that series. How did that make you feel? Because I will say this, every time I see it, I do watch Cruise at least once a year, maybe twice a year. I still get goosebumps on my arms whenever I see it.
Me too, man. I mean, I have beautiful memories of that show.
Manu Bennett, Crixus. What was it like working with him?
Manu is the man. He is the man. Like, I fucking adore Manu. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
No, hey,
sorry.
This is already 18 plus. We've already talked about cocks.
I fucking adore Manu, you know. I think he is the coolest guy. He is so humble and so generous, and he's badass, you know. Like, Manu is like one of those guys, his acting is so raw that and that's why he's so believable, because he's so with it, you know. And at the time we had that great fight together, and I remember looking at him as they were kind of winding up to like forward up to go into the first take, and he was just looking at me kind of, really, this is before they're even rolling, and I was like, this guy's fucking psycho. And I was
This
like,
guy's gonna kill me.
This guy's gonna kill me. And he, you know, the first few, you know, stunting can be pretty light, and I'm not gonna lie, Manu put some punches in, and I like.
And that's something that a lot of people have said about Manu, like when he did, even when he worked on the Hobbit movie.
Man, he's got it right. He puts it in, and you know, I put it straight back into it, you know, hard as well. I thought, okay, that's the way we're gonna play. I can play like that. So we went at each other, and we both were scratched up, and bruised, and broken. And at the end of it, he was like, "That was really good." We gave each other the biggest hug, and it was such a good shit. So once again, you know, it was awesome to share some screen time with such a legend.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that I've actually been following you for quite a while, and he's actually the reason I started watching Spartacus.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because what it was is that I had first seen him in The Marine with John Cena.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in The Condemned, also with Steve Austin. I'm a wrestling fan.
Oh, yeah, me too, yeah.
So like I saw him in those two movies. Dude, this guy's really good.
Yeah.
And then he was in 30 Days of Night with Josh Hartnett. Which that movie was good, but it could have been better because I did read the graphic novel beforehand, so I knew what that was supposed to cover. Yeah. But then like all of a sudden I'm going through like On Demand, and I go through Stars On Demand cable, and I see Spartacus, and I see John Hanna's name, Lucy Lawless's name, and Manu Bennett's name all on it. And like obviously Andy was on there too, and I'm like, well, I know 3 of those 4 actors, because John Hanna, obviously the Mummy, Lucy Lawless with Dino, Warrior Princess, so like to me it's like, okay, let me give this show a try because I see these guys, and it's great to see that the news getting more work and stuff like that. So I watched because of the video, and it's like, so it's like that's how I got into the show, and I remember watching the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, this is actually really cool. I like the director, and Stephen didn't. You know, I loved the vision that Stephen put in there because the Power Rangers too.
Yeah.
Because like Campbell's the voice of villain, you were Sega Max. I'm blanking on the name of the guy who played Claudius Claver. He voiced villains too. And it's like, so you have like, and then like Echo was in the first season. Anna Hutchison was in season 3. So like,
Yeah, well, I mean, New Zealand's a pretty small place. There's only a few of us in the country, so we've got to roll from one show to the next.
but it's so interesting, like seeing that, like when you see some of these people, it's like you look at, like I've always interested, like what other work have they done, so I can see what else they've done. And then it's like, wait, this guy was a Power Ranger? What's going on here?
What is with it?
But real quick, final question: where can the people find you on social media?
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, like I have Instagram, Mikey_Mike1974, 50 this year. So yeah, hit me up, have a chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's a pleasure. I love chatting with you.
I love the Spartacus story.
This is our only 18+ interview, probably the entire convention.
I should have sworn more. I'm sorry.
Get it in real quick.
Fuck it. See you guys.